AM 1220 KDOW and Money 2.0 present The Real Estate Report with Tony Mendez and Gordon Hines. Bay Area real estate and mortgage experts with over 25 years in the business. Now, with an in-depth look at this week's local and national real estate news and what it means for you. Your hosts, Tony Mendez and Gordon Hines.
Happy New Year!
2018 is here, Tony.
It is. Welcome into the Real Estate Report, the first show of the year.
First of many, I hope.
It is. We're going to go over a lot of the trends for real estate for 2018. That's kind of be our theme today. This is the Real Estate Report. It's still a call-in show, 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220. Gordon, he's been in the business 25 years plus. I've been in financing since, I think 99. It's what we do. We do home loans. We do real estate investing. Gordon, I know you've been in property management for a lot of years. What do you think 2018 is going to be like in the property management market?
Well, if it's anything like 2017, it's going to be a robust year. What I've been noticing as far as properties are concerned, neighborhoods are concerned, with the appreciation of a lot of properties in many, many cities across the country, especially in California, I've actually found cities have gotten actually better. The amount of bad neighborhoods have actually been reduced because you got better quality people coming in, people paying more money, people all of a sudden are aware and taking better care of the
landlords
neighborhood.
too are taking more interest in their properties.
That's what I'm noticing. So yeah, landlords too, because it's an incentive. You know, you've got a tenant paying more rent. You don't have to be a slumlord, as we used to call them before. So landlords are paying better attention to their properties, even though with the rent control that are handcuffing on some cities. But I think in the overall complexity of property management, I think it's going to be another great year in the property management sector.
We talked to an investor in San Leandro, and he said that a lot of professional investors have come in and bought a lot of property. I know that you do some in Oakland and some other parts of the East Bay that have come into these neighborhoods and really done great jobs on these properties. And you can kind of see a trend there with investors coming in. They see the money on the rents. Now, rents are kind of slowing down in some parts of the Bay Area, especially in the higher dollar. But as an investor, do you still see the opportunities in these cities? Because there's a lot of people in there that we just heard a commercial before the show started. It says, look out of the Bay Area for real estate investments. And when you hear something like that, does that say that we're tapped out here?
Well, I never say tapped out. Tap out is not a good term. I think that everything that we do goes through ups and downs, or cycles as we call it. When the market gets really, really strong, meaning everything's working on all cylinders, everything you touch goes up, of course. When the market starts to dampen or suffer a little bit, then the dynamic starts to change. And as we talk about moving out of different areas, they're just looking at opportunities. You have to look at different areas for different opportunities because the same opportunities aren't in your backyard anymore. And that's where we talk about the same thing in real estate. Yeah, like the underlying cities like Stockton and Tracy and Atwater. And we just did a transaction down in the girl bought a house all the way down in Newman and works here in Oakland. That's an hour and a half commute on a good day. So it's kind of interesting, but for affordable housing, she's got 3 kids. She wanted a house with a pool, couldn't afford anything in here. Looked in Stockton, looked in Tracy, looked in Antioch, looked in Brentwood, looked in Pittsburgh. Bought a beautiful 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath house, 2,800 square feet down there for $250,000. And she says, I can deal with that even though I have to deal with the commute.
One of the trends for 2018 that came from what they call the Forbes Real Estate Council. Yeah, we're a small little council here, but Forbes has a real estate council, is what they call National Real Estate Investor, meaning investors will branch out of their familiar areas across the United States and take advantage of growing markets where they think theirs is tapped. I see a lot of the West is doing really well. We're seeing a lot of double-digit returns in many, many cities across the United States. So it's good to see that the rents are up and they're seeing double-digit returns in real estate. And then you have Case Shiller going, oh, you know what? On average, we're going to see 2018 look like a 6% increase in home prices year over year. So so you have to look, okay, so you have $1 million property, 6% return, $60,000, or you go to another place and you buy a $300,000 property, 6% return, and you're not looking as quite as much. Okay, so what are investors looking for? Are they looking for the rate of return on their investment, meaning on a monthly basis, $100,000, I'm going to get 6% return on that plus the appreciation, or are they looking purely at appreciation? What's the mindset of an investor right now that's leaving the Bay Area to buy something anywhere?
Well, I think there's two types of investors. There are traditional investors. When I say investors, people that do this for a living. That's all they do is invest in widgets, property, notes, everything you want to think about. Those people are strictly incentive based upon return on investment. It can be the greatest thing, but if it doesn't return the amount of money they're looking for, they'll pass. Then you have a lot of people that are joining the investment arena simply because of other investors that they see that are actually doing well. So you'll find that those people strictly don't make decisions based upon return on investment. A lot of them, they put a lot of personnel into a lot of likes and don't likes, and so they make a lot of conscious decisions that's really not the way how a professional investor invests money. It's almost like a professional hitman. That's how I see it.
So let's say that you have a first-time investor. They've watched their property here in the Bay Area go up a couple $100,000 or more, and they have the equity there. They're looking at options and taking cash out, whether it's an equity line or a refinance, or maybe they already have the cash, and they're looking to do an investment property. And you go, okay, well, you have a couple options. You can look at the obvious choice for most first-time investors is something that's close by. Even if you use a property manager or not, you want to do something that you can feel and touch and see and visit on a regular basis. But let's say they're going out of the area. What kind of advice would you give that person? Would you start first with like how does the rest of your portfolio look? Does a real estate transaction actually look good in your portfolio, your retirement plan, or do you just kind of skip that and just say, I'm sure you have that covered. We're going to go straight towards, what's the best strategy for you?
If you're a first-time investor, in my opinion, you have no business going outside your backyard. It's a lot easier look than actually being able to complete it. Many investors that go out of states can actually lose their shirt. It's a different market, a different mindset. The people there are different. The thought process is different. I know people that went to Texas and their shirts that were seasoned investors. So I always tell people, the most effective you're going to be is in your backyard. You have time. You can absorb a mistake a lot easier because you know the area. You can call your cousin Vinny in to help you if you fall short on something. But when you start venturing out into areas where it's no man's land, you got to be really, really careful. You should be a seasoned professional. I'm not a fan of that type of advice.
One of the strategies in buying real estate that we've talked about over many of the years is to buy real estate in places that you know. One of them obviously is your backyard, but maybe it's a place that you've lived in the past, or maybe you went to college there, or you passed through maybe a year or two and did some work and you know the city well. Or maybe you have family members that live in a different city. I think those are the kind of places I'd start first if you were to look out of the area. Obviously, you put together a list that, of the towns that you want to be in. You would run the math. Basically, home prices versus rents, what's going to give them the best rate of return. You've compiled that list and then see what matches best for you. Maybe it's a place that you visit often for vacations or for business or something like that. But I'd start with that, and I'd stay away from something that's like a blind purchase. I remember going back to North Carolina, an investor. We knew the area, so we went to North Carolina and we bought a property. On the way back, we sat next to a guy who worked for a company. He says, I work for so-and-so company, and what we do is we take money out of their house and we take it and buy properties blindly. And he had a power of attorney, represented the buyer, and did the whole transaction there. The person never saw the house, and they were investing in areas across the United States. I'd use that as a last resort. Touch and feel your properties and know the area that you want to live in. So we're talking about 2018 trends. We kind of started with that because I'm not saying I'm getting a sour note from some of the other advertisers on the show, but it just seems like you need a little bit more advice from not just a real estate agent or a loan officer, but you need some CPA, CFP kind of advice with a lot of these transactions, because the last time we were in this situation, Gordon, what happened?
Crash.
We had a crash.
Well, I think, as you look at things, I think as everything starts rolling higher and higher, I think these things that we do become very complex. It's not simple anymore. There's so many regulations as far as when you look to resell something, the permit issues, environmental issues you got to take in consideration. You really have to know your do's and your don'ts. It's always good to have, I think resources is one of the best examples that you just mentioned. If you are going to go outside the area, let's say you got some family members living down in Reno or Las Vegas, and you're going to go there, you have resources. Something go wrong, you have help. You have a posse that you can reach out to. But going into a city to invest in that you don't know anyone, only because you heard a person did well on an investment, to me, is not a successful formula. I would wage against it. You
can call the show 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220. Real quick on the mortgage rates. Mortgage rates, they kind of went higher today following strong economic data, and in general, stronger economic data implies better growth, higher stock prices, and higher rates. Although the traditional levels of correlation between the data and the rates have been thrown off for various reasons over the past year, actually it's been a lot longer than the past year. It's been more like several years. We still see examples of that correlation from time to time, which we saw today. Good economic news, jobs numbers, things like that increase. We saw economic data stronger in Europe and Asia. This resulted in bond markets moving towards higher rates, and that equals higher mortgage rates. So I expect next week's survey to show slightly higher interest rates. 30-year fixed right now, according to Freddie Mac weekly survey, is 3.95, 15-year at 3.38, and the 5-year ARM at 3.45. All great rates. I think that regardless of the programs that are out there, Gordon, I know you say over and over and over that programs drive real estate. I think rates right now and good programs, which we are seeing. And then you have something like Wells Fargo coming out and saying, we think that the yields will stay steady for the rest of the year. Okay, so we have low rates, better programs, better guidelines, and we still have places in the United States that have a lot of growth potential. I think real estate's going to be really good this year.
Well, if we're looking at trends, once again, if we pull out a crystal ball for the rest of the year, if you look at the Fed notes and what they plan to do, rates will continue to rise this year. We're going to have at least 2 or 3 Fed increase rates, which is going to lead to increased rates on the street. I mean, we're not going to see massive rates up at 5%, but we will see right now the 30-year fixed are hovering around 3, a little over 4%. I think come year end, we're probably going to be maybe closer to 4.5% on the standard 30-year fixes, because as everything gets well, the economic news gets well, rates go up. Everybody once again, the investors wants a bigger pool, and there's more money on the street, and that's what happens.
So I wouldn't get too worried about higher rates. A lot of people who've been able to buy and refinance have refinanced into better rates. There's obviously many, many reasons why you would want to refinance, even if rates go higher. I mean, we're doing one transaction right now where the divorce decree said that the spouse had to take over the debt of the house, and she has to refinance. And she has a 3% rate, and she's going to 4%. So there are some reasons why you would refinance, and that's why we're here to give advice on those types of things. Again, this is a call-in show. You can always email the show, too. So it's 800-516-1220 or Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com or Gordon@BayAreaLoanSource.com. This is the real estate... 1 minute.
This is the Real Estate Report. We're here every Thursday, 6 or 7 drive time. That's why we're here. We're here to educate you, inform you what's going on in the Bay Area. We love that you've been tuning in for the last year. We love the emails. We love some calls. We get a chance to call. We know it's drive time, so we technically don't get a lot of calls, but we do get a lot of emails. We try to answer the ones that are relevant on the air, and we try to answer the ones off the air that are personal.
And we are going through the trends of 2018. We just kind of hit one where we're going to start seeing more people go out of their traditional areas or their comfortable areas to buy more real estate. We're going to talk about renter demand when we come back, another trend, short-term rentals, vacation rentals, smaller living, something called co-living. I think that's another big trend, and plenty more. We'll come back after this break here on AM 1220 KDOW. I'm Tony Mendez. That's Gordon Hines. Don't forget, you can email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. We'll be right back.
AM 1220 KDOW traffic.
Brought to you by Cinemark Luxury Loungers. We had a Now You See It, Now You Don't accident for the Bay Bridge Upper Deck, westbound near Treasure Island. A big rig and a car involved, but they just kept going onto the westbound Skyway and moved off to surface streets. Still, you're going to see the residual effects. Slow traffic from the toll plaza getting across the upper deck and all the way out to 101 in the city. Word of a stall in Union City, northbound 880 Alvarado Niles. It's a car broken down in the second lane from the left. That's got traffic backed up to Dakota Road. A short break, and then you're back into more slowing from Whipple continuing up to the A Street curve in Hayward. In the South Bay, an earlier accident off to the side, southbound 101 at De La Cruz. Slow traffic behind that from Lawrence Expressway. The slowing will continue in stretches as far as Tully Road and southbound 280 heavy from De Anza Boulevard to 10th Street. They're here. Luxury Loungers are now open at Century Theaters in Pleasant Hill, Fremont, Santana Row, Novato, and San Mateo. Experience your movies in comfort in a luxury lounger. Now open at Century Theaters Pleasant Hill, Fremont, Santana Row, Novato, and San Mateo. That's traffic on AM 1220 KDOW.
This is Rob Black from Rob Black and Your Money. As you know, I talk a lot about your money and financial planning issues. But not only do I give advice, I also use it. I recently refinanced my home with BayAreaLoanSource.com. As always, I was prepared for a long, arduous paperwork process because of my complex financial situation. Yet I was not dragged through the mortgage mill this time. Tony Mendez and his partners at BayAreaLoanSource.com are professional and make you feel comfortable while trusting them with your personal finances. My mortgage transaction was done smoothly and timely. I am happy and thrilled with the results. If you're considering refinancing or purchasing a home, give Tony and his partners a call at BayAreaLoanSource.com. They did me right, they'll do you right. That's BayAreaLoanSource.com, BayAreaLoanSource.com.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender, licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Rates and programs are subject to change. Classic Home Loans, Lafayette, California, NMLS number 242483.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. If you owe the IRS or state back taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's good news. Due to the financial hardship many are facing in today's economy, the IRS has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Qualifying for this program will resolve your tax problem, end all collections, and possibly reduce your back taxes by up to 90%. If you are facing wage garnishments, liens, bank levies, audits, or payroll taxes, it's not too late. Your circumstances may qualify you for this special program, protecting your savings and your assets. If you owe the IRS or state back taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's no need to worry anymore. Call the hotline at Victory Tax Solutions to see if you qualify and potentially save thousands. For this free information, call 800-420-2121. 800-420-2121. That's 800-420-2121.
Dennis Prager here, and for 2 years now, I've been telling you about my wife, Sue, who tried Relief Factor because of her knee pain, and it worked. And if you're struggling with ongoing back or neck pain, shoulder, hip, or knee pain, or general muscle aches and pain, do what my wife, Sue, did. Try Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call them toll-free 800-500-8384, 800-500-8384.
You want that house, but the bank won't give you a loan, or they don't have the right loan at the right rate for you? Why not give Greg O'Donnell a call at the O'Donnell Financial Group? Greg is independent, so he's not tied down to just one mortgage loan product like you find at the banks. Greg works with many different lenders to find the right mortgage for you. 866-496-2300. Greg will help you with your mortgage or refi. 866-496-2300 or at o'donnellfinancialgroup.com. Licensed by the CalBRE number 009711579, NMLS number 298004. Not all applicants will qualify. Rates subject to change.
This is Money 2.0 on AM 1220 KDOW.
I'm going back to my roots. Another day, another door, another high, another low. Rock bottom.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I am Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
Thanks for being with us. Guys, you feel that earthquake last night?
Yeah, it caught me off guard. I was sleeping. All of a sudden, I heard that rumble, and I woke up. I knew exactly what it was. Because actually my dog started barking right before it actually happened. So he knew it was coming before it actually occurred.
I ran out on the deck, and I didn't see anybody out. Like, everybody just was like, was that a dream? Because it didn't last long enough. And people were like, did I really dream that? And like, I go in there, the room, my wife is holding my kid ready to run out the house. I'm like, I don't think you really run out. Kind of duck and cover. But every 160 years, the Hayward Fault has some sort of major earthquake. It's been 150 years since the last one. So the only question I have for everybody out there,
we got another 10 years. That's all.
Well, yeah. Do you have earthquake insurance? I think it would be an interesting topic today. I wasn't quite prepared for that, but look at your earthquake insurance. It's all about how much equity you have. A lot of places don't even touch it until you have 25%. So I think the rule is if you have more than 25% equity in your property, then you start looking at what you can't afford to lose, and that is the equity, because those premiums are really high. With that said, I hope that earthquakes are not a trend in 2018, but we are talking about trends. We already talked about the national investor, meaning people who are looking out of their familiar areas to buy real estate. Whether or not you are going to succeed at that, depends on how much preparation you can do and how much research and buying the right property. But there are plenty of places in the United States that are looking at double-digit returns. The West is leading the nation in that, except New Mexico. They were like negative 2% or 2%, something like that. Anyways, renter demand is another kind of trend we're going to see in the United States. Robust family formations will continue to drive multifamily construction, and we're calling a new trend here co-living. A lot of places like New York City and San Francisco have put up places like one's called like the Midtown Hotel, or a Yotel is what they're called. Another one's the one in San Francisco is called the Panoramic Residence. These are interesting places, Gordon. You know, the developers are saying, you know what? Our alternative to building affordable housing is to build housing that is affordable. But it's not really housing. It's more rentals. I think the Panoramic, you can rent a bed for like $14.95 or something like that a month. I maybe double check that for sure. But what do you think about co-living in these micro units where you have like communal kitchens and kind of break rooms and things like that? What do you think?
Well, it's kind of interesting. You know, that's why they say why do we study history? You know, one of the pieces that we always do is this day in history. We study history because it always tends to repeat itself. You know, I grew up in New York, so communal living was pretty standard. You had a lot of places where you rented rooms and you shared either a bathroom or a kitchen. Some you had the choice of either one. You know, that's how housing was built back then, because the reason why it was built that way is because of massive population. So when you got up to the rural areas, there was so much space. You didn't need to build that type of housing anymore. But now, as the trend that people are starting to move back to the cities, people want to be close to work, close to schools, close to recreations. People are now have to sacrifice, and as rents and things go up, they have to find different ways to stay in the same environment. And that's why you see common living is actually coming back. It's a popular thing.
I put that down on the list of sacrifices that I would make to buy a house. Cut back on going out at night and dinners and things like that, and cut back on girlfriends or boyfriends, or how much you spend on girlfriend or boyfriend. But maybe adding, some sort of cheap living. Get the great salary and sacrifice your style of living. And maybe it is your style of living. Maybe it's fitting that personality and the way you want to, interact with society, and maybe that's your thing, and save some money. You can save $1,500 or $2,000 a month living in San Francisco or pretty much any part of the immediate Bay Area. You could probably save some money on the average salary, Gordon.
Well, if you talk to the developer Excel out of New York, he doesn't seem to be concerned about that. They just got approval for the largest residential building to be completed in the world's tallest residential facility. $1.3 billion financing for New York Towers. It's going to be 131 floors. It's going to have a billionaires row.
So, I don't think you're saving a lot of money on billionaires row.
They don't seem to have any idea about communal living. It's kind of interesting how, as things expand, what different people are doing in different parts of the country are doing, and there's a different trend altogether than what we're accustomed to out here in the West.
Well, we'd hope to see some sort of alternative for people to buy their units, but if the way I look at this, Gordon, is if you're already renting, why not buy a unit, maybe with yourself or your partner or maybe some other partners, and buy a place that you can live in, but own it? You think people are going to start going that direction where we get multiple people on title, and then you start having those, co-op kind of things?
Absolutely.
I think that might be some one of those products that we start seeing come back, because it's really tough to get right now. With that said, we'll come back with a little bit more trends from 2018. You're welcome to call the show, 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220. Happy New Year so far. We'll be right. Oh, the Dow hit 25,000. It's fantastic.
Thank you for listening.
AM 1220 KDOW traffic.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.org. We had a couple of earlier accidents through Daly City that set the tone for the northbound 280 commute. The accidents at John Daly Boulevard and Westboro have since been cleared, but the heavy traffic on North 280 is backed up all the way to 380, which in turn is backed up to 101 near SFO. It figures that in the middle of all that, we have a new stall at Hickey Boulevard, a car broken down in the second lane from the left, adding to your miseries there. Many have opted for northbound 101. That's why you're seeing stretches of slowing from Keogh and San Mateo all the way up to the Candlestick Causeway. And if you're headed toward the San Mateo Bridge to try and escape it all, eastbound 92 slows from 101 across the water to Clawwitter Road in Hayward. Northbound 101 backed up from Holly to Hillsdale, and southbound 101 a few brake lights as well from SFO down toward Broadway and Burlingame. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out and help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org. That's traffic on AM 1220 KDOW.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. Reckless and short-sighted. That's how California's governor describes the Trump administration's plans to open up federally owned waters from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from the Gulf of Mexico to the Arctic, to private oil and natural gas drilling. On Wall Street today, following news about far more private sector jobs added last month than forecast, 250,000 of them, Stocks rallied, all the major averages closing at fresh record highs, the Dow ending above the 25,000 mark for the first time ever. The blue chip Dow stocks up 152 points, the NASDAQ up 12. Booming sales in Amazon taking another big toll on department stores. Macy's will close 11 more underperforming stores. Final clearance sales will start next week. Sears will close more than 100 Sears and Kmart stores beginning this month. And with so many more Americans taking cruises, Carnival adding 18 new ships over the next 4 years. Tom Busby, CNBC.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds, and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago. I continue.
Attention shopper, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
This is Rob Black from Rob Black and Your Money. As you know, I talk a lot about your money and financial planning issues. But not only do I give advice, I also use it. I recently refinanced my home with BayAreaLoanSource.com. As always, I was prepared for a long, arduous paperwork process because of my complex financial situation. Yet I was not dragged through the mortgage mill this time. Tony Mendez and his partners at BayAreaLoanSource.com are professional and make you feel comfortable while trusting them with your personal finances. My mortgage transaction was done smoothly and timely. I am happy and thrilled with the results. If you're considering refinancing or purchasing a home, give Tony and his partners a call at BayAreaLoanSource.com. They did me right, they'll do you right. That's BayAreaLoanSource.com, BayAreaLoanSource.com.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender, licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Rates and programs are subject to change. Classic Home Loans, Lafayette, California, NMLS, number 242483.
This is Money 2.0 on AM 1220 KDOW.
The Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
I want to thank Gordon for covering for me for the last couple weeks, I think it was.
Oh, yeah. We're very excited.
That's an intro I think we need to lose.
What's that?
Yeah, an intro that this music.
Well, it doesn't bother me any.
So some of the trends from Forbes Real Estate Council we've been going over for 2018. Short-term rentals is one of them. I think a lot more people owners are going to look at considering renting a room or doing Airbnb. What do you think of, furnishing your house, kind of having one room, maybe you put like a super lock on it, and then whenever you leave for a day, or maybe it's a week or 2 weeks, and you start Airbnb it out. Or you set up your house where you take a door and you put plywood there, or you close the door completely and you start renting out one of the rooms. Do you think that's kind of a trend we see in a place like a Bay Area?
I know a lot of people are actually renting rooms in their primary residence, going back to common living, sharing bathrooms and kitchens. A few years ago, I have, at the rentals that we manage, people always leave furniture, and I had so much excess furniture, I decided to put this furniture in a unit to rent it. And I was amazed to see how many people liked the idea of renting a unit furnished. Yeah. Didn't have to worry about bringing all they had to bring.
Was that Airbnb or
just
vacation
regular rental? Just decided I have so much furniture, I might as well just rent it. And I said, if you want me to take something out, every once in a while they want me to take something out. But for the most part, they were happy to have the furniture in the unit.
Can you charge more when you have furnished?
Yeah, you can actually charge more. There's actually different rules. You can have an increase in deposit to cover damage to the furniture. Every city has different rent control rules, but for the most part, state of California allows you different rental rates and different security deposits and things like that, but you can actually charge for a furnished unit.
Let's say you qualify. You're looking at a $700,000-$800,000 house. It's like, let's say it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Would you consider as an investor, let's say you can find that in the Bay Area, setting that up as 3 different units? I know we've run across a client that's done that recently.
Yeah, we had a
where he took a single family, he had 3 different levels, and he had 3 different people, and he built out the basement. But let's say it's not quite like that. It's just a standard single-family house.
I think that's pretty standard right now. It's actually, we talk in the year, a lot of cities have passed what they call, well, not cities, the state of California actually passed the auxiliary housing law, which as long as it's an owner-occupied unit, you can have multiple rentals in the units. And a lot of people are doing that, have been doing that. Garage conversions have been very popular in certain parts of the city for additional rooms. So, people kind of get creative, I think. When everything changes, we think it's all blight, but people actually get creative and learn to work with what they have. And that's what you're seeing right now. I know a lot of people are renting rooms in units.
I imagine a lot of properties that have those features already built in, especially if they are coded and permitted, that those are higher desirable houses right now.
Yeah,
so
depends on where it is.
let's say you have 2 houses right next to each other. One's got a finished basement, the other one doesn't, or a finished walkout, or whatever you want to call it. Or maybe it's the garage is finished. It's all permitted.
If you live in a city right now where you're close to BART, close to transportation, close to stores, people that don't have cars, people that are on bicycles, you see all around the city of Oakland, there's a bicycle in every corner you can actually rent. You can rent one from one location right across town and leave it another location. So these are trends that we haven't seen before. And these are things that the cities have to get adjusted to. The police departments and the civil service people have to kind of get adjusted to it. But it's happening, and this is a benefit of appreciation. It's a benefit of neighborhoods.
Of high rents and a congested area.
Absolutely.
Vacation rentals, another trend from Forbes Real Estate Council for 2018. Expected to continue. Vacation rentals expected to continue at a higher rate and at higher rents. I know, in fact, multiple people right now looking at vacation rentals, places like Tahoe, even in near the beach down in Santa Barbara and places like that, where they're going, you know what, vacation rentals, they're starting to pick up again. People are, we had a client not too long ago who said, you know what, instead of going and renting places, I'm going to go buy a vacation property. I'm already spending X dollar amount a year in vacations. Why don't I set something up where I can rent it when I'm not using it, and then use it when I want to use it, block it off, use VRBO, or personally manage it, or get some property manager in that area.
I think you just described timeshare. Isn't that what timeshare is all about?
Yeah, but you own it.
Timeshare, you do own it.
Timeshare. Interesting fact about a timeshare. If it shows up as a mortgage on your credit, Fannie Mae will disregard it and call it an installment loan. So if you have a lender telling you otherwise, contact us. We'll be right back after this break. You can always call the show, 800-516-1220, or email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com.
AM 1220 KDOW traffic.
Brought to you by Unbound.org. In San Francisco, we still have the slow traffic northbound 101 Cesar Chavez, making your way to the Bay Bridge lower deck as far as the center Anchorage, where things will open up for the rest of the drive to the East Bay. And traffic entering the city westbound off the Bay Bridge, slow from the incline portion, getting out to about Hospital Curve on southbound 101. No metering lights, by the way, at the toll plaza if you're headed into the city. We talked about the San Mateo Bridge in our last report. Well, this time we'll address the Dumbarton Bridge. Eastbound, some heavy traffic from the high-rise getting over toward Thornton on the Newark side of the span. And we've had a stall cleared northbound 880 at Alvarado, Niles, and Union City. Still the delays from Maury Avenue in Fremont up to the scene, and then again from Whipple to A Street in Hayward, and an accident involving 4 cars southbound for 880 at Brokaw, now in the center divide for San Jose. In places around the world, there are elders who long for community, connection, and the opportunity to live with greater dignity. Sponsor an elder through Unbound and help bring a brighter tomorrow to one person who helped us all build a better world. Meet one at Unbound.org. That's traffic on AM 1220 KDOW.
A new year is upon us, and for many people, that means the goal of better health. Unfortunately, many are suffering in silence from the dreaded condition known as WHTM syndrome, more commonly known as what's happening to me. No energy, can't lose weight, mental fogginess, etc. You're frustrated because you've tried everything and nothing has worked. But now, help is on the way. Author of the upcoming bestseller, Conveniently Killing Yourself, and renowned weight loss and anti-aging specialist, Dr. James Dickens, is exploding the myths about aging and revealing the secrets of the fountain of youth. Yes, you really can look and feel 10 years younger and live with the energy and vitality you deserve. Learn how you can recapture the edge you may have lost. Look better, feel better, be better. Check out drdickens.com. That's drdickens.com. Start enjoying the health you were always meant to have. drdickens.com. That's drdickens.com. drdickens.com.
Celebrating 18 years as the leader in investing and trading education.
Following your system
them has been fantastic.
Yeah, I really appreciate the work you do. You're really an inspiration.
Well, all of the tools you've put together for us have just given us so much confidence.
I have learned so much. It is absolutely incredible.
You're really one of the best I've ever heard. I've been with you for about a month and a half now, and I'm already up 7%.
Financial education is, in many respects, the most important education you can get, and that's what they're getting from your show.
You guys have always been great on the service side.
I have so much more confidence in when I'm in my trading.
Phil, keep up the good work. I love the chart.
I've been in this business for 45 years, and you are the best.
And I've been following you, I guess, about 9 months right now, and you've just done a great job.
Listen to Phil, join the gang, and you'll never regret it.
If you're serious about securing your financial future, then contact philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
This is Money 2.0 on AM 1220 KDOW.
Come with me now. Come with me now.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I am Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
This is our 7th year of doing the show. Thanks for listening. All those people who've listened. And you can always go to our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com, and you can sign up for our newsletter. We'll start being a little bit more active in 2018. One of the trends that I want to continue. Speaking of trends, Forbes Real Estate Council, they came out with some interesting trends that they're going to see in 2018. Renter demand is going to increase. Short-term rentals where people are like renting out rooms in their house and so on, like Airbnb and so on. Vacation rentals, those expected to continue going. Smaller living, we talked about co-living and things like that. Something else they see, appraisal legislation. Gordon, have you heard about this? Implementation of appraisal management companies regulations in 2018 will increase the costs and have the greatest impact on our business. It will increase the cost of doing business, which will ultimately increase the cost to the consumer.
Well, actually, interesting you mentioned that. We were talking about different trends that's happened in 2018. And there was a payoff that we're looking for a client today, and we saw the first effect of that law that just went into effect that's supposed to assist and build a fund for affordable housing.
Extra $75.
It's just $75 fee charged to all transactions except the ones that are purchase transactions, and it can go up to $225 for transactions, depending on how many deeds have to be recorded. So we saw it today, and that's an effect.
They add up, and they have over many years. The title company chart. You've seen the title fees. So appraisal legislation. We talked about the national investor, people moving out of, or not moving, but buying out of state. Higher demand for technology from renters and landlords, owners who use management companies. We're going to call this like on-demand services. So either side of the transaction, whether you're renting or you're the landlord. But I also think that in general, the buyer, the owner, the renter, the landlord, whoever it is, I think technology is going to play a big part in how people manage their property.
Absolutely. I was talking to another client today in Atlanta. He was telling me he's got a lot of rentals down there, and he was telling me how most of the tenants now pay rent through either direct deposit, where they go into the bank and directly put the money into his account, where he doesn't collect rents or accept checks anymore. It's all instant cash, instant credit. Doesn't wait for the check to clear. Doesn't have to worry about check bouncings. So all kinds of things that happen. He's got all kinds of software now to help manage the property. So everything changes with technology. Everything gets hopefully easier to manage. You can manage more properties now instead of having one slate.
We work with a lot of clients that have multiple properties, 7, 8, 10. We have one guy working with 20 properties. The kind of software that's coming out right now for managing these properties is a significant change than just doing spreadsheets. But it also makes it easier when you do go get another loan later and you want to buy another property, and you all of a sudden you have this great ledger and this great printout of all of your rents and everything like that. That really does help. Alternative real estate investments, another trend for 2018, according to Forbes Real Estate Council. And I agree with most of these as far as trends, some of them big, some of them not. We're going to get to the big one at the end, millennial buyers. But alternative real estate investments, multi-units, commercials, mixed use, things like that. What do you see like a place like the Bay Area, Gordon? And you're a professional investor. You've been doing this for years. You bought the single family and renovated and kept it. You bought 4-unit condos. You converted 2 into condos and 2 into rentals. You've done 3-unit buildings, total rebuild, and then rented it. And you decided whether or not to sell it or not. You've done it all. Are people going to start looking at the alternatives here, the commercials, the mixed use, and so on?
Well, we're already seeing that trend. I know a lot of landlords that are actually no longer, once again, back to what we talked about earlier, are no longer renting apartments. They're now renting rooms. It's a lot more profitable to rent a room. And let's say you got a 4-unit building with 2-bedroom apartments. You can get 2 people to a room at $800 each. That's a lot more than renting the apartment for $1,500 or $1,600. So there's a lot of different trends, as we talked about earlier, as people get more and more creative, from the tenant and also from the landlord side, of how to maximize profit, especially if you're an astute investor. So I do see these trends taking place. A lot of Airbnbs. You're seeing the states now beginning to collect money. Cities now are also controlling these Airbnbs. Many communities are saying you can't have any short-term rentals. You mentioned earlier about people buying houses together, and I mentioned to you the thing that you were explaining was help me out. You were talking about, I was talking about timeshare, and I know a lot of couples that actually bought season or vacation houses together, where they kind of share, different times a year to go up. It's either skiing up in Tahoe during the wintertime or fishing during the summertime, and they invest in these three people buying these vacation homes, which makes a lot of sense.
Part of I think the excitement of this type of alternative investing is that there's products out there. There are a lot of products that have hit the market in 2017 that are going to make 2018 a lot easier for these kind of alternative investments. Highly recommend that you look into them with people who know how to do them and how to use them. We are one of them. Just if you're curious, you can always go to our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com, or email us, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. But the products are there, and you always say products drive real estate, and I think this will be a big part of how professional investors or even novice investors get into real estate, and they start thinking differently about how to take advantage of this robust market that we have right now.
Well, that's what we talk about. Every time a lot of people call me about, hey, Gordon, I want to start investing in real estate, and I would say, hey, listen, start with someone, do a project with somebody. You be the conductor along with it. I think you can learn a lot. So when it comes time for you to do your own project, you got a repertoire of people of services to call out on, or you've got people to share, or you got ideas on how to solve problems when a problem does occur. So it's always good to do something with somebody. It's like a learning curve or apprenticeship, if you want to call it. And that's what Donald Trump had, right? The apprenticeship, right? And that's what got him elected to be president. So if he can get elected during presidency, during an apprenticeship, so can you. You can become governor doing apprenticeship as far as real estate is concerned.
Call the show, 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220. We've been talking about the trends for 2018. We already talked about rates. We've talked about many of the ideas that investors have going towards 2018 and the products and so forth. Some of the stories out there, luxury prices surge. I'm not sure if your first investment property is going to be a luxury home, but luxury prices are skyrocketing in some of the places. What do you think the number one I don't want to say province, but state in the United States that has the highest surge in 2017 of luxury prices?
California?
No, it was Hawaii. It was Maui. And in fact, 3 of the top 5 are in Hawaii, Maui, the Big Island, and Kauai. But Colorado, Eagle County, Colorado, saw the fastest luxury, second fastest, beating out places like New York and San Francisco in that category. But we're not talking about small percentage, 33% increases in some of these prices. So luxury home prices, I think we'll see as a trend as well. Some of the global trends that we might see, Hong Kong real estate, they're saying that's overpriced. It's starting to decline already. Norwegian house prices slump, deepening threat during the economic recovery. They're seeing a 6% decline in some of the large cities there. So maybe we're tapped out in some of these cities. England's already saw it. London, they already saw it.
Well, whatever goes up does go down, and cycles change, people change, thought process changes, and areas change. We've seen that all around the world. That's just standard investment.
We'll come back after this break here on AM 1220 KDOW. You can always call the show, 800-516-1220.
AM 1220 KDOW traffic.
Brought to you by Compassion International. San Jose with a little flurry of activity right at the end of the rush hour. An overturn accident southbound 280 at Meridian with the 2 right lanes blocked. We also have reports of a brush fire burning alongside southbound 280 near McLaughlin Avenue as you continue downtown. An accident northbound 880 at Highway 237 off to the shoulder, but they have summoned an ambulance to the scene with traffic slow from Coleman getting up past the scene there. An accident in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Northbound Highway 17 near Redwood Estates has the right lane blocked. It's still very crowded through San Francisco. Northbound 101, if you're headed toward the Bay Bridge lower deck, that backup begins at Cesar Chavez. Traffic headed into the city. Westbound slows on the Bay Bridge incline, traveling out toward 101. Every child is born with talents, hopes, and dreams, but poverty will steal those dreams. You can help a child find hope again when you become their sponsor with Compassion International. Give a child a chance to dream again. Find out how at compassion.com/radio. That's traffic on AM 1220 KDOW.
This is Rob Black from Rob Black and Your Money. As you know, I talk a lot about your money and financial planning issues. But not only do I give advice, I also use it. I recently refinanced my home with BayAreaLoanSource.com. As always, I was prepared for a long, arduous paperwork process because of my complex financial situation. Yet I was not dragged through the mortgage mill this time. Tony Mendez and his partners at BayAreaLoanSource.com are professional and make you feel comfortable while trusting them with your personal finances. My mortgage transaction was done smoothly. I am happy and thrilled with the results. If you're considering refinancing or purchasing a home, give Tony and his partners a call at BayAreaLoanSource.com. They did me right, they'll do you right. That's BayAreaLoanSource.com, BayAreaLoanSource.com.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender, licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Rates and programs are subject to change. Classic Home Loans, Lafayette, California, NMLS, number 242483.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares.
I didn't realize what I was getting into. The whole thing was just a scam. I finally found information on Chuck, and he agreed to meet us. It was just a wonderful experience because he knows that business inside out, and he actually wanted to solve our problem.
I fought the largest timeshare company in federal court, and yes, I won. Whether you owe $10,000 to $250,000 on your timeshare, we can help cancel your mortgage. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently. And we proudly hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free consultation at 800-786-9300. That's 800-786-9300. 800-786-9300.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844. Hillsdale College forges character and elevates civic discourse both on campus and nationwide. To find out how you can take their free online courses or receive a complimentary subscription to Imprimis, a monthly speech digest, visit hillsdalefreedom.com. That's hillsdalefreedom.com.
This is Money 2.0 on AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines. Thank you for listening. We're here every Thursday from 6 to 7. We go different things. We talk about every week, and we're glad that we have you as a listener.
This week, we're talking about trends going in 2018. The last one we have millennial buyers. I love this quote from one realtor said, "I believe that the new buyers are millennials, and as we as agents need to become more proactive in the community to become that millennial choice. This generation has many different options for home ownership, including tiny homes, investment homes, co-living situations with friends or family. It's going to be a huge learning curve and a fun adventure all around." Let's talk about learning curve. The mortgage industry, is it keeping up with the I know we had some changes like student loans. They've separated into like 3 different categories. Like, okay, this one we're going to do 1% of the balance. This one, if it's deferred for more than 24 months, we're going to use whatever on the credit report. I mean, so are we seeing the changes that we need for millennials to kind of catch up with, some of these better, I'm sorry to say this, better qualified or more qualified by Generation X and baby boomers?
Well, I would say change is good, but we are very, very apprehensive to change as human beings. I think we can do more change. Sometimes change is slow coming. But as we talked earlier, when prices start to go up and ratios and qualifying, all kinds of different things starting to change, we have to change with the times. So I do see things are changing. Like, for example, same-sex buyers, remember before had to be on separate applications. Now they can be in the same application, as long as they're some type of registered settlement together. So everything is good because as time changes, so does people.
What's the best advice you'd give a millennial right now? Somebody anywhere between 20 years old, 35 years old, looking to buy a house. They've got some student. We ran across somebody who had $500,000 in student debt, and we're going to have to slap it with a $5,000 payment.
Find a partner. That's what I say. Find a partner.
Yeah, dual incomes.
Yeah, dual income doesn't have to be a significant other. It could be a friend. It could be a roommate.
A parent. Co-signer.
Could be a parent. Just stop looking at doing it by yourself. Do it with someone. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more manageable. As long as that person can hold their own, regardless, and that's what a partnership is, regardless, right? And find a partner and buy something together.
So if you're going to follow any of these trends going into 2018, looking to buy a house, looking for investment, looking at just the way you're going to live and interact in your society in big cities like San Francisco and much of the part of the Bay Area, I always talk to a professional. I think that it's important that you do work with a CFP, at least a CPA, to look at your taxes. By the way, that's going to come up. Some of our next shows will be about what to prepare for coming into the tax season here. But definitely check the when you check the website, make sure you're looking at accurate information. I just ran across this article today, and it said that it says the number one sign that you can afford to buy a house in 2018. And they said the number one sign you have is that you have enough for 20% down, and you have 10% down for closing costs. Now, there's no transaction that you're going to have 10% down for closing costs. All right, so you could easily run across an article that says, "Hey, I'm going to buy a house in 2018. How can I afford it? Well, I need 30% down for a 20% down loan."
Well, we always talk about that. The web, you got to qualify the information you read on the web. It's somebody's opinion. People put it out. You just got to make sure you qualify it. This time of year, this time of the show, I should say, we always try to get in this year in history. We got three great things that happened this time in history. 1999, actually, the birth of the euro. Now we have a new currency, the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and now we have the birth of the euro in 1999. 1996, GM came out with their first electric car, the Volt. They had the battery patent for years, but kind of put it aside. And last but not least, 1847, the first Smith & Wesson sold its first revolver. Could you imagine how that changed history? We'll be back.
Thank you very much, Gordon, for that day in history. We'll come back next week. You can always visit our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com. You can always email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com or Gordon@BayAreaLoanSource.com. Thanks for being with us. We will see you next week.
You want that house, but the bank won't give you a loan, or they don't have the right loan at the right rate for you? Why not give Greg O'Donnell a call at the O'Donnell Financial Group? Greg is independent, so he's not tied down to just one mortgage loan product like you find at the banks. Greg works with many different lenders to find the right mortgage for you. 866-496-2300. Greg will help you with your mortgage or refi. 866-496-2300 or at o'donnellfinancialgroup.com. Licensed by the CalBRE number 0097159, NMLS number 298004. Not all applicants will qualify. Rates subject to change.
The information you want, when you want it. Check out the new On Demand feature at KDOW.biz, where you can download podcasts of your favorite KDOW programs and more. Your programs on demand at KDOW.biz.
What is the future you doing right now? The answer could be working for UPS. UPS Freight is hiring full-time road drivers in San Leandro. Must have a CDLA and earn $24 per hour. Apply now at upsjobs.com.
Take AM 1220 with you wherever you go on our smartphone app. KDOW, Palo Alto, San Francisco. A service of Salem Media Group.
Strategies and Solutions with Johnny Dean.
While your local bookstore may be crammed with books on parenting and saving for college, you'll likely see fewer books on how to lend a helping hand to aging parents on their financial affairs. Now, for sure, that's not a happy topic, but for many middle-aged Americans concerned about their elderly parents, it's an important one. Try to start a candid discussion about where your folks are financially now and whether they have any looming financial worries. It helps to get a handle on whether they have income to cover their day-to-day expenses and whether they're worried about the ability of those assets to last throughout their retirement years. Ask about their filing and their bill-paying system. Are bills getting paid on time? Can they put their hands on important financial documents? If not, maybe they need a new filing system. Any problems you can solve now should be addressed as a first priority.
Securities offered through Lucia Securities, LLC, member SIPC, and a subsidiary of Lucia Capital Group, a registered investment advisor. All investments are subject to risk, including loss of principal. John Dean is an affiliated person of Lucia Securities. Strategies and Solutions with Johnny Dean.
I sometimes hear from listeners who say, we're a family with only a modest income, but we've got a house that's appreciated by several $100,000. Won't college admission officials take a look at our home's value and turn a thumbs down on financial aid for our kid? Well, actually, that's not as big a problem as many may think. Most student assistance is federal aid, and the feds don't consider the value of the primary residence in the formula when calculating need. While private colleges do often consider home equity in the equation, they weigh it less heavily than income. If you've got a college-bound kid, you might want to establish a home equity line of credit. First, if you do need to pay a lot of college bills, you'll have that option. Second, you can also use the line of credit to pay off more expensive debt, like credit cards. And third, borrowing against your home will reduce the amount of home equity that might be considered in any financial aid decision.
Securities offered through Lucia Securities, LLC, member SIPC, and a subsidiary of Lucia Capital Group, a registered investment advisor. All investments are subject to risk, including loss of principal. John Dean is an affiliated person of Lucia Securities. Strategies and Solutions with Johnny Dean.
When you buy a house, you're likely asked to make this choice: pay the homeowner's insurance premiums yourself or have them incorporated into the mortgage payment. Your choice possibly depends on how able and attentive you are to money matters. Some people don't like to let the lender collect the premiums because the lender makes the money on the float, the time between when it gets the cash and when it pays the bill. In truth, though, the amount of interest the homeowner is giving up is usually not very significant. If you're the kind of person who's very precise and punctual with your bills, then yes, it's somewhat more economical to pay the insurance yourself. But if you're a little loosey-goosey about deadlines, it's much more safe and convenient to let the lender collect this as part of your monthly payment. Doing so also lets you spread the cost over all 12 months, avoiding the risk that you won't have the cash when the insurance bill comes due.
Securities offered through Lucia Securities, LLC, member SIPC, and a subsidiary of Lucia Capital Group, a registered investment advisor. All investments are subject to risk, including loss of principal. John Dean is an affiliated person of Lucia Securities.
Progressive brings you Flowetry with Flow.
Motorcycle and car insurance bundled like macaroni and cheese, please. I got discounts up the wazoo. Yahoo! Saving money, riding down the open road on my bike, dropping fine rhymes, then dropping the mic. Assuming that's okay with the venue.
Bundle your motorcycle and car insurance and save with Progressive. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
AM 1220 KDOW. The views and opinions expressed by Rob Black and his guests are not necessarily those of KDOW or its management, owners, or advertisers and should not be construed as legal, tax, or investment advice. Always consult with the appropriate advisor before making any investment or financial planning decision. Insightful, informative, irreverent.
We're ready.
1220 KDOW presents Rob Black and Your Money, your source for breaking news, market updates, and successful investment strategies for the 21st century.
Sounds like a great program.
Getting you to retirement in today's market.
So let's get on with the show.
Taxes,